Ladies and gentlemen, a truck many of you may not be familiar with, Max Marmon. Very rare, I've not seen another one like it, and I'm lucky enough to be joined today by two people. On the left is Gavin Spence, who owns the truck, and on the right is Peter Max, who brought them into Australia. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Nice to meet you. Good to see you again, Gavin.
Great to catch up with you, mate.
Yeah, mate, been a while.
Yes.
Let's start with you, sir.
Right.
Tell me about the truck, tell me about the history of it, and why you brought it into the country.
Well, it was in the 90s, early 90s, and I just wanted to get a better truck. A lot of the trucks that we were operating weren't as good as I would have liked, and I just thought it was a good business venture. So I was in America, and I went to America, and I went to the Pacific actually, and then they didn't have what I wanted, and I found Max Marmon in America, and I negotiated an Australian-wide distributorship, and started bringing them in and converting them and selling them, and that all went terrific. And they're the last hand-built truck in the world. Henry Ford actually drove a Marmon car until the day he bought Lincoln.
So the history goes back to the turn of last century.
Oh, absolutely. And they really were a hand-built custom truck. And then they sold out to Navistar. No one knew about it, and then overnight they shut the doors. And that was the end of my business. One day you're a rooster, next minute you're a feather duster. And
what year was that?
the last ones came in 97.
Okay, so he started off on the car side,
No,
and then went into
no. It was just trucks.
It was always trucks.
Always trucks, yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But they stopped building cars in, I don't know, 1950 or something. Whenever, I'm not sure when, but there are quite a few vintage Marmons around. They're worth a lot of money.
Oh, I can't believe that. So with the trucks, I imagine.
Yeah.
So how many did you bring into Australia?
22.
Okay.
Yeah. And glad to say someone like Gavin's got some of the good trucks, looking after them.
Yeah, well, he's a bit of a hoarder, is our Gav.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
So before you went into this, what were you doing? What was your profession before that?
Well, I've been in transport all my life. I was originally an owner-driver, and in the 70s, running Sydney and Brisbane and all that, working for Satori's, and then started moving a bit of my own freight, and then ended up I had chemical tankers, and I sold them to ICI, and I was looking for something else to do, and I just thought that building a truck in competition to all the big boys in the late 80s, early 90s would be a good thing to do.
This truck stood out to you as against Kenworth and Peterbilt and the other American products.
Yes.
Why?
Because they had a very, very strong chassis. I had a wrecking yard in the early 90s, and I was wrecking trucks, and I could see a lot of faults with trucks when you pull them apart. You know, this is broken or that's broken, and I thought, well, if they built it a little bit differently, it wouldn't have broken. You know, talking about cross members or all sorts of things in the 80s. And I went to the Marmon factory, and the chassis is fantastic. In fact, there's there's about 5 of them running in Western Australia right now, rated at 150 tonne.
Wow,
with this chassis that Gavin's got here. And the cabin's all aluminium, hand built, very light, very strong, basically indestructible. So that's why I got involved with them.
Powered by?
Well, we brought in all Caterpillar. In the States you can get Detroit and Cummins, but we had a relationship with Caterpillar and they supported us and were very supportive, in fact. And so I decided exclusively to fit Caterpillar in Australia.
Right, so did you fit the engines here in Australia? I mean, did these arrive
Some were,
built?
or some came in containers from America with cabins and whatever, and then we'd modify them. And
So they were
fit them up.
CKD or semi-CKD?
Yes. Some came in the end already driving right-hand drive.
Right. Oh, okay, so they converted them to right-hand drive in the
In the end,
States
yes,
for you?
yes. But unfortunately, the as I said, you know, the I don't understand why people sell things, but anyway, they sold Marmon to Navistar, and then overnight they shut them down. And the reason they did that was to get rid of a competitor, but also because they had union trouble in Chicago with the Paystar factory. So they moved the Paystar factory into the Marmon factory in Garland, Texas, and that got rid of their union problem. So Marmon was really a sacrificial lamb to corporate greed,
Yeah.
for want of a better term.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all just part of our life's journey, isn't it?
Well, and what a fascinating part of history certainly, well, in Australian trucking terms, that you created, and you never thought you would at the time.
No,
So,
we're just doing boy stuff.
You might have made a few bucks, and you probably lost a few more because that's the way of these things. But hey, mate, you'll go down in history for. And I've got to say, they're a spectacular looking truck.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
So obviously they're solid, all aluminium, as you said.
Yeah.
So they're gonna stand the wear of time. What were they used for in the States? Were they used for logging and that sort of stuff?
Everything, yeah.
Because I was thinking of the early Western Stars, which they made their name in the logging industry.
Yes. But like the Pacific's a great truck, but they're very, very heavy. They're a big, strong truck, whereas these were more of a refined truck and a light truck, but very, very strong and strong through being clever.
Right. Fascinating stuff, mate.
Gavin knows more about them. Tell him about the truck, Gav.
Well, I'm so glad that you were here. The person that brought them into town, so to speak, so that we're able to meet you and find out a little bit about the history. Good on you, Pete. But don't go away, because I'm just going to come back and we'll get young Gavin, because I'm old and I can call him young. Mate, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Now, mate, I'm good. Now, for people that haven't met Gavin Spence, he's been around the traps a while and he can't help himself. He just likes to buy trucks, and he's got a couple of unusual ones. I know there's a B model Mack pickup that I would just love to have in my garage, and it's probably sitting doing nothing at your place at the moment.
It's keeping dust off the floor of the shed, mate.
Keeping dust off the floor. Well, mate, look, I'm happy to come and sweep the floor of your shed weekly.
Okay, if you can get in there, well, yeah, you could probably.
Yeah, well, that could be another
not much
problem.
room in there.
Right. So, how did you come across this particular truck, and the brand for that matter? What did you know about it prior to this?
Initially, I knew nothing of the brand until many years ago. I was with a good friend of mine at the time, Glenn Newland. Unfortunately he passed away some years ago.
Yeah, bless
and
him.
We were on a little bit of a road trip, and we were down in Bairnsdale snooping around, and checking out industrial estates and whatnot. And we just happened to be driving through Bairnsdale when this old girl behind us came steaming past, and my jaw dropped, and I looked at it with absolute amazement, and I said to Glenn, I said, what in the hell is that? He said, that's Neville Gray's Max Marmon, and it was coming the other way with an empty flat top trailer on it, as Neville Gray, who was the previous owner to myself, lived down at Cabbage Tree Creek down that way, and I'd never ever seen a Max Marmon before, and interestingly, I thought to myself back then, I want to buy that truck. I'm going to own that one day.
Of course you did, folks.
and so anyway, time went on, and I did actually get a hold of Neville and spoke to him, and of course it wasn't really for sale at the time, and then I kept in touch with him, and sometime later he intimated that he might sell it, but the price was well and truly up there, and then so we sort of waited around for Neville to get to retirement age, and when he got to the point where he'd had enough of road transport, he advertised the truck with the trailer for sale, and it was in the Just Trucks magazine, and so I wandered on down there to Marlow, I think it was, where Neville was living at the time, and had a look at it and agreed to buy it then, and that was probably about eight years ago now, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. So
okay.
Probably somewhere around the 2018 mark, I think, roughly, maybe before that, 16, probably 2016 it might have been, somewhere around there.
Right, so you've had it for 8 years. Have you had to do much to it?
I've done a few little things on it maintenance-wise. I mean, look, it hasn't done a lot of work to date. It was one of those trucks that was probably a bit more of an impulse buy. It was one of those things that was on my wish list, and
what has it got on the clock?
Oh, look, there was some talk before that it may have probably done around the 3 million kilometre mark. It was originally fitted with a 3406 E-motor when Peter brought it into Australia, and after doing many miles, the E-motor broke a crankshaft, and then the previous owner Neville Gray, he fitted it with a C16.
Do you still have it under warranty, Pete?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I've discussed a few warranty issues with him today, actually.
Sorry, how old is this truck again?
Yeah, it's only 1995. So
Oh,
the warranty
right, yeah, it should still be
good,
under
so
warranty for sure.
I would have thought, yeah.
Oh,
I would have thought.
isn't that how you made your name? 10 million kilometre
Absolutely,
warranty?
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
it. That's it. We've got to hold him to it. But anyway, yeah. Look, and so Neville fitted it with the C15 Caterpillar, which was a crate motor at the time, and it's done about 1 million kilometres as well, and set at 600 horsepower. And it's just a really nice, lovely truck to drive. It's good power. It drives nice. It's quiet. It's comfortable, and it's a C15 with an 18-speed Road Ranger on New-Way airbag suspension. So. And it's got proper wheels on it too, Spider wheels.
I did notice that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do a walk around and show the people what it's like. So this is going to stay in the family for the indefinite future.
I would think so. I think when I'm long gone, someone will probably sell it. The girls will probably
Oh
sell
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I can't see it going
cashing
into-
in on Dad's demise.
Yeah, yeah. Someone else will probably do something with it. I don't have any plans to part with it at this stage. So
It is a spectacular looking truck. It
they were my thoughts.
really
when I
is.
first saw it.
Pete, mate, congratulations on taking a serious punt, which would have cost you a lot of money
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of grief, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was taken out of your hands. There's another story about Peterbilt in this country, which is not dissimilar, I think. But the fact that you had a go is brilliant, mate. It's great to meet you, and you're a part of trucking history. And Gavin, you're going to keep it alive, my friend.
Well, that's what we aim to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. It is unique to me. As you say, there's 22. Do you know how many of those are still on the road, Pete?
Yeah, 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
There was one.
That's not a bad reference, is it? That 20 of those 22 are still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one burned to the ground. A car went head on under it on purpose in South Australia, and there was one got written off in an accident here, and it ended up in Dalesford Truck Wreckers. But the rest are still out there and working and active.
Brilliant.
Some of them on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, on heavy road train work. As I said, there's one comes from Toowoomba, and he's out there in West. I know right now he's in the Northern Territory with 3 trailers on the back, with 150 tonne gross. You know.
That is pretty cool. It's a cool truck. You're a cool bloke for bringing him into the country. And Gavin, well, we know you're cool anyway, mate.
Yeah, we
I won't repeat what anyone else has said about you. Gentlemen, great to see you again, Gav.
Thank you, Kermie.
Peter, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so
And you
much for
too.
giving us your time. And hey, keep on trucking, especially with that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.